Oh, come on, Mater. It's go time. Last one, okay? He's like, you promise? You said last one like 3 times yesterday. Yeah, man. Give everybody just like a minute or so to get over here. Speak louder.
Speak louder.
Oh, yep, we got people coming out of the woodwork.
All right. Like we're getting a bit of a crowd. Are you ready?
Just a second. We'll let that group get over here.
We're about to get started. We just have a few people coming on this way, so we wanted to wait until everybody was close enough to hear us. All right,
can everybody hear me all right? Cool. My name is Ethan Norris. I'm with Diamond End Equine. I'm joined today by my girlfriend Virginia and my mules Marshall and Mater. We travel throughout the Midwest to do competition mule jumping. These two are our novices. We have more that go with us, but we decided to come down and we're kind of asked to come down due to mule jumping as a sport, the history involved with Waynesville. Waynesville was founded in 1833 as a trapper settlement. So how mule jumping started as a sport, trappers would take, back in the days before four-wheelers, trappers would take out their mules, which were, riding mules a little bit bigger than these two. They'd take mules out and they'd be on the hunt. Well, you come up to a fence line and, the gate's 3 miles that way, but the hunt, whatever you're chasing, the coon, fox, whatever it is going that way. So these hunters would take their jacket and lay it over the fence and you could see it, and mules being natural born jumpers would go over it. You want to see if he'll go over? Let's go. Now, unfortunately, due to Mother Nature's frequent temper tantrum, we can't go as high as we'd like to. Marshall here will jump just shy of 50 inches, and Mater is capable of high 30s, which is impressive when you take into account he's 33 inches tall. Let's go. Anybody can laugh. Not hear me. These two have been with us. Marshall, we've had since February. He came from a sale barn up towards Kansas City where they used him to work cows, but we don't believe that because we were told he saddle broke, but our crash test dummy decided to go on him and came off about as quickly. But he's been beyond valuable as a jumper. This is all he does. This is his one job. When he gets home tonight, he's going to go bury himself in a bale of hay till the next time he comes to jump. Mater here, he was Amish born. A friend of ours bought him at the Diamond RC sale in Kirksville last spring. He's got 2 young daughters he bought him to kind of play with. Well, things didn't work out. He was a little bit unruly for him, and he ended up in our care in November. And you would not believe he's the same mule that we brought home, because when I got him, I couldn't do this. He didn't trust anybody, but he's come around. He's been doing good. Now you might notice Mater's just a little bit smaller than Marshall. Mater's a miniature. He comes from a miniature jack, which is a male donkey, and a miniature mare horse. If you swap the genders, you get what's called a henny. They take a little bit more after the donkey. Marshall here is out of a quarter horse and a standard jack. Both of these boys have competed in 2 competitions so far this year. This is their first season. Let's go. Mater has a 3rd place and a 2nd place win under his belt. Marshall has a 2nd place and a 1st place win. Mater's 3rd place win was against 5 mules, and the next one up from him was 15 inches taller. So I'm pretty proud of him. We travel to Iowa Horse Fair. That's the beginning of the year. All through Missouri, and then Pea Ridge, Arkansas is where we end our season at the big mule jump down there. Anything you want to add?
We currently travel with 3 different us, Diamond Inn Equine. We have Crooked Creek Mule Company, and we also travel with a fellow named the Mule Jump Preacher. Everybody, it's such a small sport that everybody is so helpful to everyone that both of them were like, hey, you want us down there to help you? And we're like, maybe next year we want to take the reins for once. This is our first demonstration on our own. We're very excited to be here. We're very excited to share the sport. It's, like I said, it's not a very big sport, but the more you get it out there, the more it grows. We've already got 2 more families that have mules that are like, that sounds like fun. Because unlike equestrian jumping, which is the normal vaulting, you have to be on the back of the animal. That's really hard for people with back issues, hip issues. You can't get in the saddle anymore. You can't do what you can. But people of all different. People that can reach over the pole. People of all different
levels of athleticism.
Levels of athleticism can do this. All you have to do is be able to stand here and get the rope over. But the pretty stubborn is mule country somewhere, so sometimes you get a little bit of pullback. Come on, buddy.
And these boys have been hard at it all weekend, so I don't blame them for not wanting to send it.
We were hoping the ground would be a little bit more dry. We had a pretty good jump going this morning. We got about this high. But with the wet ground, we worry about how they land. As you see, when he jumps straight up, he jumps straight down, he takes a couple steps, and then his butt comes down. He, on the other hand, jumps like a normal horse. He jumps forward, and with that forward momentum, he does a little bit of a slide, so we don't want him to hurt himself.
Talking about the mules we travel with, these are actually the lowest 2 jumping at the moment. Yeah. Our group is actually called the Mule Mafia. It includes Diamond Inn Equine, which is us, Crooked Creek Mule Company, RH Miniature Cattle, Mad Hatter Mules, and the Mule Jump Preacher. Now, how many of you have heard of Preacher in a mafia? Miss Kitty, who is the flagship of for lack of a better word, the main jumper of the Crooked Creek Mule Company, she has been known to clear heights of 72 inches. She is the current Missouri State champion, and she has to defend that title here in about 2 weeks. Because I'm not coming for it this year, but maybe next year. Then Preacher travels with a little white mule named Pedro. He's an inch shorter than him. He is the current Arkansas and Texas state champions. His current record is 62 inches. I think that's right about here. And then another gentleman that runs with us, he is Jerry Nelson of the Nelson family. His current mule, or his main mule, is Baxter, who jumps ballpark 50 inches. But he's a little more advanced in age. He's, upper 20s? So he's been at it a long time. His dad started the mule out, and now Jerry takes him. And my mule, Marshall, will actually be squaring off with him in 2 weeks at the Missouri State Fair. We're currently 2 to 4 inches off what he can do. So, I forgot where I was going with that.
You're trying to take Arkansas championship.
Oh, yeah. So, Baxter is actually, he's been doing it so long, he's been Missouri State champion 16 times. So whether we beat him or not, I've got a lot of respect for Baxter. He's won Pea Ridge. He's won titles in Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas.
The people that are in it have been in it for a really long time. As you can tell, it is a family generational thing. We got into it because my mom is into it. We've gotten a few other families interested in trying it out. It's a good time. It's different than what most people are used to whenever they hear about horses jumping. So we just like to spread the word because, like we said, the different levels of athleticism, it lets more people into the horse sport that aren't able to ride. I can't think of any more big points. Does anybody have any questions for us about mules? Both of them are 5 years old. They are both fully grown, and this is as big as both of them will get.
Believe it or not, Mater's actually the older of the two by a couple months.
When it comes to training jumping mules, we always wait until they're about 4 or 5, because unlike humans, all of their bones aren't developed. But I mean, like, little kids don't have kneecaps, so I mean, like, they still have their legs going until they're a few years old. It's the same with horses until they're a few years old. This part of their shoulder isn't completely developed. Their knees aren't completely developed. They're not ready for the impact of jumping or riding yet. So we wait until they're a good 4 or 5. We get them used to going over poles. So the way to start a horse or a donkey or a mule going over poles, we lay a PVC pipe out on the ground that gets them used to just picking up their feet to walk over something. From there, we lift them up off the ground a couple inches. They start picking those back feet up a little bit, or they jump. If they jump, every kid is going to be a doctor. You want your kid to be a doctor. So,
let's go.
If that's not what they want to do, they can be a riding animal. They can be a livestock farm.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
You guys want to sell him? And they're like, oh yeah, we ride him all the time. He's a great rider. He's fantastic. I'd put him in our next rodeo if I could.
He gets kind of rowdy.
And then we have little Mater here. Like he said, a family friend had gotten him. He was Amish born, Amish raised. He was raised by the children of the Amish as opposed to the adults of the Amish, which I feel like is a little bit harder on him because, you know, typically adults know when to stop. Children just see what mom and dad are doing, and they don't necessarily know that maybe this is a little bit too much. So he's not a social little butterfly. We're working on it. This is only his 3rd or 4th time out in public. We think he's doing fantastic. He hasn't kicked anybody yet. But wiped out my hand. It's fine. We're fine. He's been great to have around the house. He's a great companion for our little pony. They just hang out in the field, like you said. This is the only thing that these two do. The way that we look at it is we've got our football stars here, and you wouldn't make your best football star play baseball. He's not going to run very fast. So this is all they do. They come out, they do their jumps. We only have about 5 or 6 a year, and we do our best. We're doing pretty good for these two being novices. Especially when we're competing against people that can jump over my head.
Yeah.
So we're doing fantastic. They're doing fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better set to be training right now. I think that that's all I can think of right now. Yeah.
How do we get a schedule of events? A Google search, or how do
we have
you can
get.
You can find I post everything on Facebook, so you can find us at Diamond and Equine. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is all the same name.
And we'll post the schedule of the events. We will post where we're going to be at. We're going to be at the State Fair in 2 weeks. We're going to be in Pea Ridge, Arkansas here in
October.
3 months.
We're also planning to travel to Altenburg, Missouri this year. They posted a pretty good title there, so they got our attention.
They said they got the world champ, and we think we can beat them. Right now, the world championship is in North Carolina. The highest world champion right now jumping is 40 inches. Mater can about jump 40 inches, so we think that we can do it.
Go get it.
So
We're also planning in February of traveling to the Fort Worth stock show. They put on a pretty good mule jump every year. You can actually find a lot of videos of that one on YouTube.
We'll be looking. We might try to get you on a jump.
Cool.
good for us. You definitely like seeing people a second time.
Yep. It's the first we've ever heard about it.
Like I said, it's not a very common sport. We're trying to get the word out there a little bit more. We're younger than almost everybody else involved, so we figured we can deal with the heat. We can deal with doing things a little bit more back to back, bothering people.
And going kind of back to the state fair thing, this is actually the jump that was used at the Missouri State Fair from 1985 to 2005. So this has got a little bit of history, but it's not fully set up because the coordinators asked me not to knock any big holes in the grass.
I can see that.
We'll be looking for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Alrighty.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're going to wrap it up then. Thanks everybody for coming, and hope you have a safe trip home.